Good morning, class 7. Today we'll be beginning with the chapter that is the Tughlaq and the Lodi dynasty. Before we begin with it, please rectify the spelling of Tughlaq. It should be Laq. All right. The U should be changed to AQ. Okay. Now, after the death of Alauddin Khilji, there was struggle for power. We all very well know that when a king dies, there were rival parties who always took the chance of attaining the throne. Isn't that so? There always used to be fight for power. The general of Alauddin, namely Malik Kafur, was killed, and the last Khilji ruler on the throne was Khusrau Khan. So you need to know this, very important. The last ruler of the Khilji dynasty was your Khusrau Khan. The nobles, with their tricks and tactics and strategies, killed Khusrau Khan, and now there was the emergence of a new dynasty called the Tughlaq dynasty, and it was under the leadership of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. So, who was the first ruler of the Tughlaq dynasty? It was Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Let us study about Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Under Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, we shall discuss certain important points only. All right. So now Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, after ascending the throne, he built a new city called Tughlaqabad, named after the dynasty near Delhi. So which was the city that he built? He built a city named Tughlaqabad, and it was built in Delhi. He, in order to bring efficiency in the kingdom, brought a lot of changes into the working of the administration. Now, what does the term administration mean here? The term administration, it simply means the working of an institution. All right. For example, the school is an administration, isn't it? And here, what was the administration? It was the kingdom. Let us now see the changes that he brought. Firstly, he appointed honest and diligent officers in the administration by getting rid of the corrupt officers. So he got rid of all the corrupt officers. All the corrupt officers were removed from the office, and only honest officers were kept. Secondly, he reduced the taxes on the lands which were to be submitted by the poor peasants or the farmers. So if the farmers were paying a sum of 100 rupees per year or per month, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he reduced it to 10 rupees. All right. So this is what do you mean by 1/10 of the production. This brought a relief to the farmers naturally. Thirdly, the department related to law and order of getting justice and removing injustice was also reformed by him. Reformed meaning a lot of good changes were brought by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq so that the people were treated fairly. All right. Now, gardens were built and forts were constructed. By forts here we mean the structures which were built as protection against any attack by the enemies. So he built even forts so that the enemies, it would be very difficult for the enemies to attack them. Sadly, Ghiyasuddin, he died in a planned accident when the pavilion collapsed. We all know what a pavilion is, isn't that so? It simply means an area which is used for refreshment or for changing purpose. Example is our own Bhaichung pavilion in school. So after his death, the next ruler on the throne was his son, taking up the title Muhammad Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Now we come to a very interesting personality of the Tughlaq dynasty, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He is remembered by many historians as the ruler for making many mistakes during his rule in the running of the administration. Let us now have a look what mistakes and blunder did he make. First was the taxation in Doab. Now, Doab actually means the land between two rivers. So it was the Ganga Yamuna Doab where the Sultan tried to increase the taxes. Here we see the difference between the father and the son, where Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq he reduced the taxes, but the son followed the opposite measure. Adding to this, the Doab region was hit by a terrible famine. What do we mean by a famine? Famine here refers to a state where there is no agricultural production and the land turns barren. During this difficult situation also, the officers of Muhammad bin Tughlaq continued to extract heavy taxes from the peasants. The poor peasants had no choice but to leave their land and take shelter in the forest. But soon the Sultan here he realized his mistake and provided loans to the peasants and also free food. So from here we see that the idea of taxation did not work, but instead landed him in losses. And him here refers to Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Secondly, we come to the topic that is transfer of capital from Delhi to Devagiri. Now, the Sultan very well knew. By Sultan here, we are referring to Muhammad bin Tughlaq. All right. The Sultan here very well knew that Delhi was much unsafe as it was attacked frequently by the Mongols from Central Asia. So he shifted his capital from Delhi to Daulatabad. But here the Sultan, instead of shifting only the office, he ordered the entire population of Delhi to shift to Daulatabad. His order was followed so strictly that not even a dog was seen in Delhi. So here we see how, strictly his order was followed, that not just the population but also the animals vanished from Delhi. Traveling from Delhi to the new capital Daulatabad caused immense problems to the people. During those times, you did not have advanced transport systems like the rails or the buses. The people were traveling via cart or on their foot. Just imagine now traveling on foot from Delhi to the Deccan part of India, that too in peak summer. Thousands of people lost their lives on the way. When those people who survived reached Daulatabad, the climate of the new capital proved to be unsuitable for the people. Muhammad bin Tughlaq again ordered the public to return back to Delhi. This way, he soon realized his foolishness, but the damage had already been done. When they returned to Delhi, Delhi had already lost its charm and glory. So, this second innovative idea of Muhammad bin Tughlaq again became unsuccessful. Now, let us move on to the third mistake or the blunder made by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. This was the token currency introduced by him. Earlier, all the transactions were done only in terms of gold and silver, but due to the shortage of silver coins, the Sultan introduced bronze coins and claimed that all dealing in bronze tokens should be accepted as legal token like gold and silver. But soon this led to the illegal minting of coins. Now, what do you mean by minting of the coins? Minting of the coins mean manufacturing of the coins. Gold and silver coins were only manufactured in your particular department of the kingdom. All right, but now since bronze was being manufactured, what happened? The king, he did not make it the monopoly of only the authorities or only of the kingdom to produce the bronze coins. But what happened now? Each and every household, they started to manufacture bronze coins. People began to pay taxes with the bronze coins, which was now easily available, and soon gold and silver coins disappeared from the market. So see here now what was happening. Gold and silver coins disappeared from the market. People returned bronze coins in exchange of gold and silver. Naturally, the Sultan himself had claimed that bronze was also equal to the value of gold and silver, isn't it? So now it was being exchanged for gold and silver. This way, all the gold and silver was depleted from the empire's treasury. The last unsuccessful plan of Muhammad bin Tughlaq was his plan of conquest. Now, Muhammad bin Tughlaq wanted to conquer the whole of the world. This was quite foolish from his side, isn't it? To think, thinking of himself to conquer the entire world. He gathered huge army and paid them for a whole year. But the Mongols made many raids which weakened his rule. The Mongols were more better in strength and fought efficiently than the Muslims. So this way his dream to conquer the entire world turned out to be a failure. Because of his unsuccessful plans and the problems and the grievances faced by the people made him very unpopular. All right, so he was disliked by his public, by his subjects, and he ultimately died in a revolt. The third ruler of the Tughlaq dynasty was Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Now, Firoz Shah Tughlaq was the last ruler of the Tughlaq dynasty. He was the cousin of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So he was not the son who took over the throne. He was the cousin. Normally what happens is, it is, the son who takes over the throne after the father's death, isn't it? But here, what was happening? Firoz Shah Tughlaq was the cousin of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, who took over the throne after his death. All right. He was a very kind ruler and he reduced the taxes in the Doab region, where Muhammad bin Tughlaq had earlier imposed high rates of taxes. He gave the poor money and was very generous. He removed all forms of punishment and improved justice in the kingdom. All of these clearly tells us that Firoz Shah Tughlaq was a very kind and a fair ruler, isn't that so? Firoz Shah Tughlaq was one of the greatest builder of Delhi Sultanate. He built Firozabad, Fatehabad, Jaunpur, and many more. He also built 50 madrasas. Now, this is a new term, madrasa. What is it? It simply means these are institutions, okay? Madrasas are institutions where Islamic instructions are given. He built 40 mosques, 30 colleges, 100 hospitals, and 1,200 gardens were built around Delhi. However, Timur, who was the head of the Turks in Central Asia, he invaded India and led to the downfall of the Tughlaq dynasty. So what led, or what was the reason for the collapse of the Tughlaq dynasty? It was the invasion by Timur. All right. Now, we come to the topic invasion of Timur. Invasion, what do we mean by the term invasion here? Invasion here means an attack, all right? An attack or to invade, to loot or to plunder. We have already discussed that Central Asian Mongols kept on raiding or attacking India from the very beginning. You all know it, we have done it in the previous chapters as well. Hence, now we have Timur who looted and plundered India during the Tughlaq reign. He made a merciless condition in the northern part of India with bloodshed all over. The attack of Timur was so ruthless that the Tughlaq dynasty could never rise up again. Later, we see that Timur's great grandson continued his legacy and attacked India during the reign of the Mughals. The last subtopic that we shall deal with is the rise of the Lodi dynasty. Under the Lodi dynasty, we just need to remember that Bahalul Lodi was the founder of the Lodi dynasty and he was succeeded by his son Sikandar Lodi. The other two subtopics we shall not be doing. Okay, so these are Ibrahim Lodi and the rise of the new kingdoms. We shall not be doing it. So this is the end of the chapter. I hope I have made myself clear and you have understood at least some bit of the chapter. Next, we shall soon be giving you some exercises based on this chapter. All right.